Oh my God, it worked. Good morning. Right, that's a brilliant way to start the episode. Right, so I'm gonna before we get into the normal, I found out that there's an easier way how to record these meetings,
Yeah.
and I did think it would work. So my reaction, what you first heard,
It's
was
the
my
first
react
time.
is the first time of me ever doing it. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the whatever number episode it is of the Formula One podcast. Today we've got a lot to discuss. What a race it was over the weekend, from start to finish, from practice to qualifying to the race. Absolutely epic from start to finish. And then I think one of us, yeah, definitely one of us, is going to have a massive moan at one point.
At least.
At least one of us. So be
The two
prepared
of
for
us,
that.
so.
Exactly. So be prepared for that. And don't forget, what I want to say to you guys as well is don't forget, on Sunday, we released our first ever vlog. Never done one before and never know how to edit one before. And it was what it's like to be in a tier 2 football stadium going to watch Reading. I went to the game. Weird. So you can experience what I experienced on the channel right now. And it was on Sunday. It got a lot of views to start off with. So I just need you guys to smash that like button. Go and share it. Tell us what you think. Give us some opinions of what you thought as well. So yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. My room is quite dark. So I also don't have very bright room. So at this precise moment, I have a lamp that is situated on my bed, because I record this on my bed. On my bed, just directly point at me, and every so often my right eye catches it and I go blind. So don't forget that yesterday we released a podcast for you guys on what day do we release this? Release this on a Wednesday. Okay, so we're recording this on Monday because we want it to be fresh. So we're a little bit a day ahead of when we normally record it. But Monday we released a podcast for you guys with Courtney where we discuss all things the Forest game. We got his opinions on the Sheffield Wednesday game as well, and we built up to the Birmingham game this Wednesday. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend that due to one, not having the money in time, and two, it sold out by the time I got there. So I will not be attending, but I will be watching it from my house. I'll be recording the NFL podcast at the same time, but I will have it in the background watching it. Don't forget, yesterday for you guys, which is Tuesday, we released the wrestling podcast where it was just a review of NXT War Games. Which happened for me this morning because I watched it this morning. On Sunday, and we reviewed it. And for the first time, because this is the day after, so I can actually say it. For the first time since we started doing the predictions in wrestling, I fucking won. Yes. I won. So at the moment, overall pay-per-views in 2020, it is 1-1, but we've got TLC coming up the 20th of December. So that will be the decider who gets the overall pay-per-view win going into next year. But yes, today we're going to talk about the Bahrain Part 2 Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we will be going into the final race of the season where we will be talking about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which has nothing riding on it at all, but it has pride. Because we will talk about predictions because a certain somebody has come back from the edges of death, of nowhere, of oblivion, and he has come back, and he is so.
I'm so upset. I'll get into it later, but I'm so upset over one prediction that I was going to make but didn't for Sakhir. One prediction for Sakhir I was going to make and I didn't, which is I was going to predict PEREZ to win, and it's just tears.
Can you smell that? I smell the tears. I smell the tears of a gypsy that is losing.
Minus the fact, one, we're drawing, and two, if I didn't point out last week that Max Verstappen in qualifying, I would have been behind. To rob me of a point.
Exactly. And this time I didn't even cheat, and I still come from behind. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about the start. Let's talk about qualifying, shall we? Because I think the first things that we can both talk about with qualifying is our predictions, and then we can move on to it. So the predictions for fuck me, where have I put it? Here we go. The qualifying was, I predicted, which is where I got all my points from. Where I got all my points from was I went Bottas, Russell, Verstappen. You went for Bottas, Perez, Russell.
My boy Checo.
I'm not a big fan of his, I'm not going to lie. He ruined Russell's... Actually, no, Mercedes fucking did that by themselves.
Yeah, it's not even his fault.
No. So that's where the draws come back. And at that point, it was 5-5 overall score between us, which is why Abu Dhabi at this moment is so... This has become a personal... I need to smash him or beat him because this is my podcast. And if I don't win, this fucker's not coming on again. But no, how did you think about qualifying? What was your takeaways from it?
Exciting, very exciting. Quick laps, short laps, lots of traffic, and everyone seemed to be playing quite nicely. As who was it? Russell said on the radio how about he gave someone a tow for their start of their flying lap. So then they gave, I think Sainz gave one, probably might have been the other way around. I'm not sure. I think Sainz might have given Russell a tow down the first straight, which is basically where you let someone get in a slipstream into turn one, then go out of the way, and then Russell returned the favour later on. So everyone seems to be playing quite nicely and helping each other out a bit, which is kind of nice.
Very nice to see.
So yeah, that's pretty good.
So at the start of the race, I think we were all... Well, I know I was very much rooting for Mr. George, not only to get in a point and get points, not only that, for him to prove that he deserves an opportunity in the future to maybe drive for a Mercedes, maybe drive for someone else, but to have a very good car underneath him. And I think we all knew beforehand. Jesus. I just got a notification about NFL. Anyway, so we all knew going into it, maybe George Russell was maybe a world champion material, but we've never really known he could maybe do that because he never really had a car to sort of challenge.
Being in the Williams.
The Williams is like a tractor most of the season so far.
A car is awful.
So I think this was the perfect opportunity to see him. And let's be honest, the start of the race, let's talk about the start. Bottas had a very poor start again.
He's on the clean side of the grid this week as well. There's no excuse. He's on the good side of the grid. That's where I thought maybe that's where it gets away from him, because Russell being on the dirty side of the grid, Bottas and Max, who's a good starter as well, being on the clean side of the grid, thinking, he might get taken by Verstappen and then he'll have to battle for it. But actually, he got a better start out of him and Bottas, even being on the dirty side of the grid.
Which I was like, yes, Russell, come on. And then after, I think it was 3 corners, Charles Leclerc just did an absolute madness, and he took out Perez, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It took Perez out.
He hit Perez, and then Perez hit Max, I think.
And then Max just got out of the race, and just... You knew the Ferrari was going to struggle. I think we all knew Ferrari was going to struggle. But to even get out, to either do a stupid mistake after just the third corner. That just proves to me that Carlos Sainz next season will be the better driver in the Mercedes, in the Ferrari, Ferrari than what Charles will be.
I think they'll be very evenly paced next year, but I think what Charles was looking at was, I'm much slower than these guys. If I'm ever going to have an opportunity to get in front and just park my car in third position and block everyone off, I've got to do it quickly. I've got to do it now, and then just sit in front of them and hope they can't get past. Which is what I think he was thinking was, let me get done quickly, try get away, and if they catch me later on, I can defend.
Yeah. And I think with Charles, I think he's really going to struggle next year, because I think Sainz has the pace. He proved that in the opening 10, 15 laps, I think it was, in that McLaren where he was right up Bottas and he overtook Bottas. And he really showed that if he has it's a bit like Russell as well.
Yeah, if he has a good car beneath him.
Exactly. And then after 27 laps, I know we've skipped a lot, but in 27 laps happened in like 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
Like 20 minutes. Sainz was third. Albon was 10th.
Yeah, I'll go into it in a bit at the end of the after we've done the end of the Grand Prix.
We don't have to go into it at the end because we can talk about it. We all know that Perez has won. Yeah. That's just made Albon's seat virtually impossible.
But I think if they were going for Perez, they would have already done it by now.
Do you think they would have done it by now, or do you think that they really wanted to see if Albon, after I think it was last week where he got third, if he can really sort of become a consistent driver?
The thing is, Albon only got third last week because Checo's car died.
He would have been fourth, yeah.
He would have been fourth, which is still a good result. But my only thing with Red Bull probably keeping at this point is because, one, Perez brings sponsorship money.
A lot.
But that's a lot of sponsorship money. But some of those sponsors are not sort of competitors to other Red Bull-based sponsors. So some of Red Bull sponsors might go, we don't like having that sponsor or that sponsor on the car. So that loses some of the money Perez can bring. And also, I think Perez won't play number 2.
But does Perez... You say Perez might not play number 2, but at the same time, he's going to have a heck of a lot car better than what he's got at the moment. And not only that, he's going to have a company that he works for that can really challenge Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. Do you not think he will go, okay, I'll be number 2, but really deep down his side, he's going, Max, I'm coming for that fucking number 1. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, but I think Red Bull set that car up so strongly in Max Verstappen's favour that Perez gets there and goes, well, I don't like this and this about the car. And Red Bull are like, tough, we've got to deal with it. We set the car up to how Max wants it, deal with it and adapt, which is what I think Albon's struggling with.
But do you not think that they would not... Okay, so this is for someone that's not a regular, but someone that's trying to think of... contradict what everyone else says to try and be an ass sometimes. But do you not think that they need to... I think, do you think they will learn from their mistakes, what they did this year with setting how different they set up Max and Albon to maybe go, okay, next year we need them to be a bit more even to see who is the actual good driver who can actually put this Red Bull and get them the world title that they've been missing since Vettel?
In my opinion, no, because I think Red Bull have Max Verstappen as this cash cow. He is our number 1 driver. We do anything to make Max happy so he doesn't go to Mercedes. Because I think that's ultimately where Max wants to end up, is Lewis retires and Max goes into that seat. It's what I think he wants.
Okay, then let's carry on with this train of thought. I'm enjoying this. So if Lewis retires, Max take his seat, then there's also a seat there for... Where does Russell go? Does he take that second seat in Mercedes or does he take over at Red Bull?
He takes, in my opinion, I think he already has his seat sorted for 2022 in the Mercedes.
So we're saying that if someone's going to screen this, someone's going to record this and then go. So you're saying maybe in 2022, the Mercedes starting grid, we're presuming Lewis wants to break the record next year and then move forward. And then retire. You're saying the Mercedes car for 2022 is going to be, or could be, Max Verstappen
and Russell. Depending on if Bottas pulls his finger out.
But do you think it doesn't matter what Bottas does next year anyway, because of the year that he's had this year?
Depending on Lewis. I think Lewis, it will be Russell and ... That could either be Bottas if he pulls his finger out and actually goes, if he challenges Lewis or even somehow wins the World Championship next season, which I don't see him winning it, but he might improve and get close, maybe. they might go, well, we'll stick with Bottas because he's much cheaper than Max, and in terms of wages, and he's fairly safe, fairly consistent when he gets up there, where Max can be a bit more erratic and crash prone. Whereas, and then I think they've seen this weekend, he is the next Hamilton in terms of young British driver coming through, as well as maybe Norris, I think, could have that mark of the next Lewis Hamilton.
I've said this before, and I've said it in a podcast before we started doing the regular Formula 1 was I would love to see a Mercedes team of Russell and Norris.
I think I'd like to see that, but I think Norris has his ties to McLaren.
So did Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, but a lot went on at McLaren for Lewis to then go.
It did, but at the same time,
it could happen, yeah.
Anything can happen in sport and in general.
I think we're more likely to see a Russell in a Mercedes, a Verstappen in a Red Bull still, because I think if they keep up performance, Max might stick it out there because he's got claws there. And then we see a Norris in either a rejuvenated McLaren or maybe Ferrari go Sainz and Lando, or Leclerc and Lando. If Sainz doesn't work out, maybe.
But could be interesting. There's a lot of I think we can say now that there is a lot
of combinations that could happen.
Exactly. And at the same time, I think this is the first time in a very long time when, if you look at the driver grid for next season at the moment, there are a lot of very good drivers on that.
And a lot of new drivers to look at, and new old one, as I'll say, in Fernando Alonso, who
I still don't get why he's coming back.
I think Renault. I think he wants to have a year in that Renault. So he's like, "Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm here. I want to show you that I'm still fast." 2022, because he's got, I think, a 2-year deal. Well, I think the deal is 2 years plus 1, which is how most F1 deals go out. Here is a 2-year contract, and we've got a third one if we want to. So I think he'll have 2021 in this generation of car, 2022 when the new regulations come in, and then if Renault's good, he'll stick out another year. If they're not, he'll have a look. Because I think he wants to drive the new generation of car to say that he did the old, like, mid-2000s one, the 2010, 2011 one, the, like, 2014 onwards, the hybrid ones, and then 2022 onwards.
Yeah.
I think that he wants to do, like, I've done 4 generations of F1 cars.
So I need your help.
Yes.
I need you to explain to me what the fuck happened with Mercedes. How did they fuck up my man, Mr. Russell, from winning this fucking race so much? And they also got a €20,000 fine for what they did, and Russell doesn't get any points deducted. And it said thank God for that. But how did they fuck up so much?
So I've seen this back. I literally watched it just before this. But what happened was, because as I said I think I put on Twitter, my Sky cut out. I think about 30 seconds, which is about half a lap, before Aitken decided to spin around, hit the wall, and cause a safety car. So then, from what I've seen, is Mercedes wanted to do a safety stop, which they could have done under the safety car, double stack the cars, bring them back out 1-2 fresh tyres, let them battle to the end. In which case, I think Russell would have walked away with it. But what happened is they called it so late that they didn't have the tyres ready. And what happened was they put 2 of Mr. Russell's tyres and 2 of Valtteri Bottas tyres on Russell's car, which is you're not allowed to do. And then they realised once they put the tyre on Bottas's car that, we've got 2 Russell tyres, 2 Bottas tyres. So they had to take those tyres off, put back on his old car tyres, and then run those to the end in one pit stop. So realistically, he took off the tyre, put on a new tyre, which half of them weren't his, put back on his old tyre, which already done 25 laps. So very well done, Mercedes.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
And I'm betting if Lewis Hamilton is in that car, that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah.
That does not happen if Lewis is in a car.
And I felt so sorry for George as well because he dominated that race.
Yeah,
he really goes to show that that's a good car. But I think David Crofty had it right in commentary, where what he said is no matter what happens in this race now, Russell can easily go to Mercedes and go, look, I can dominate.
Yeah.
You lot can see that I can dominate. Now I'm ready when you need me. Maybe that might be the end of this season. That might be the end of next season. Who knows what happens from here on out? We never know. But we don't even know at this point of recording what's going to happen in Abu Dhabi. So at this precise moment, we have no clue. So
I saw something earlier on Sky Sports on their website because I always check it before we do these. And from what I've seen, so Toto did an interview yesterday saying Lewis has over the weekend gotten fit and healthier. So he's from Saturday, he was very symptomatic and very, very much struggling to Sunday evening, fit and healthy and feels raring to go. So he's either got some Superman body strength to just, I can defeat COVID in 24 hours, or suddenly the symptoms just wash through him almost.
Or they're not letting on as much as they want to.
Yeah, or that's the third option, is they're not letting on.
I think that probably the third one is they don't want to let on. Checo Perez.
Yes.
Go on then.
My boy Checo. Please, Red Bull Racing, you won't see this, but if you do, sign up Perez for 2021 and beyond. Please, 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 please put Perez in that car.
Do you think they will?
No, not at all.
There we go.
I think they're more likely to go with Hulkenberg.
Let's talk about
more likely to play number 2.
I said this on Twitter, and as much as George and Lando are my boys, as I love them a lot, I always support the Brits. I love Carlos Sainz. I just love him. I love Daniel Ricciardo, and I love them. But for me, Checo Perez, it's been someone that a few years ago I didn't like. I didn't really rate. But I think how he's been done dirty by Racing Point. And I think he should have a seat at Racing Point, but I think it should have been with Vettel, not with Stroll.
Stroll's never going to get dropped.
No, I know that. But in my opinion, if you're looking for a perfect Racing Point, you're going to go for
Vettel, and Mr. World Champions in speed, and Mr. Consistency, Checo Perez.
And you've got to respect Stroll as well. He got third, a 1-3, first time ever in
third podium on the grid.
Exactly, first time ever Racing Point have had 2 drivers in the top 3, which you got to put a bit of respect on his name as well. And he is a very good driver. But for me, Perez and Vettel should have been that team, and maybe Stroll goes to Haas or goes to a different team, in my opinion, to get better. But that's my opinion. But let's talk about Haas. Haas have announced their driver lineup for next season. Talk me through them both.
So, first, I'm going to go with what they announced first, which is I'm going to go from the start. So, 1, Pietro Fittipaldi will most likely race again in Abu Dhabi.
I think that's dead on, isn't it?
Yeah, because Grosjean's been told by the doctors he's not allowed to race.
And can we just say as well, on Grosjean for 1 second, that I watched his interview with Sky. With Martin Brundle. And when I watched it, I was listening to what he was saying and the way that he explained it. And for me, just listen to him saying, I just sat in that car in the fire and I just went, right, what's going to hurt the most first then? Is it my feet that's going to hurt the most? Is it my hands? Is it my face? What's going to hurt me the most? And then he said, then he also just went, no, I can't do this. People watching, my family's at home, my kids are there. I have to find a way to make my kids get out. and he got out, and it was like,
it's very emotional.
I think it was very emotional, but I think at the same time you get you appreciate their families a lot more for what they have to go through. And he goes, I was very selfish because when they rung me in the hospital, I was telling them I'm fine, but I'm racing in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And they were like, no,
not really.
No, you can't. And he's like, no, I have to race in Abu Dhabi just to say a goodbye. And I think, I don't know whether you saw it. He said at the end, he goes, I don't care if I finish 20th. I don't care if I finish first. All I care about is if I was going to getting in the car and driving through that finish line in that race, because that was the last time. So my hat off is massively. You have my utmost, not that you give a shit about my respect, but you really do have my massive respect for
being
everything
consistently
you've done.
On the grid for 8-9 years, but he's been in F1 for 11 years, started in 2009. So it's a Renault team. So
it's amazing that he's done it. Right, let's talk about Mazepin. Marzipan. What's he like? What's he like as a driver? Is he going to impact on anything next year?
So he is, as I said last week, Russian. Dad has a lot of money, has invested in the team. His dad deals in Russian chemicals and stuff.
Oh, he's fucking minted them.
He is. Yes, he's very rich. He's also, what most people say, very aggressive and can be a bit whiny. I watched some clips. Of him in junior categories where he basically been. I think the main one was Belgium this year. He got a penalty and basically exploded in F2 in interviews and stuff. Basically kicking off by having a penalty. So he will be a character that we've not seen in F1 for a little while, where he is ready to kick off. We've seen a little bit in Lando Norris.
We saw a little bit of Max as well.
I think he'll be Max scale up in pissed offness and the scale down in ability.
Right. Okay.
I think he'll outperform Schumacher next year. Mick Schumacher, who was the second driver announced at Haas.
Right. Let's talk about him, because for me, I don't watch F2, but I will start watching it soon because a lot of people say it's very good. Is he going to make an impact as everyone thinks he's going to?
From what I know of him, wait till 2022. He's what I would call a grower. He has a year in the category. No, not like that. He has a year in the category he's in. I knew you were going to do that. But he takes a year to get used to what he's driving in, the cars he's in. And then the second year he goes, okay, I'm going to dominate the fuck out of this category I'm in. So F2, his first year was last season. He wasn't bad. He wasn't excellent, but he wasn't bad. He was very stable. And this year he's gone and not dominate the field, but he's won F2 in his second season and looked fairly dominant at points. So he takes time to grow into the category he's in.
Are there similarities between him and his father?
Yes.
Is there a lot of similarities or not?
I think he's similar in the levels of how daring he is in terms of some of the overtakes he'll go for. He'll be one to watch next year in the Haas battling. He'll do what I think Russell's done a bit this year, where he's been in, frankly, a shit car and sort of drag it up the field. But I think we're going to see a few inconsistencies at points where Mazepin's going to be, I think, out-qualified a bit, but might be able to be there at points where, once again, he's also very aggressive, but I think he'll hit the ground running more than Schumacher will.
Okay. So we're looking for two very good drivers in a year or two's time that need to find their feet. So we're going to go see a few mistakes, but we're also going to be looking at them to see if they improve over each race.
Yeah, over time.
Right, let's move on then. Let's go to Abu Dhabi. Give us I can see here you've written down some facts. There's some of the beautiful things that's happened in Abu Dhabi before. I'm not going to steal your parade. So I'm going to let you go away. Tell us a little bit about the track and tell us a little bit about the race.
Abu Dhabi, it was designed by notorious F1 track designer Herman Tilke, who's known to book out or make very boring Grand Prix races, which is kind of what Abu Dhabi is. It's very boring, not very many overtakes to take, very, very many opportunities to overtake, other than maybe if you take the DRS down the big, long straight and dive down the inside, and then the defending driver can switch back, go down the inside into the next DRS. It's very crisscrossy, overtake on straight, cut back, overtake. It's very boring, to be honest. It's never overly eventful, other than 2010, I'd say, was quite eventful, similar to what he did at Rosberg 2016, where in 2010, where Vettel won his maiden world championship, is only because Fernando Alonso got stuck behind Robert Kubica in a Renault in 2010. And 2016, Lewis was in front of Rosberg and tried to back him into the Ferraris behind, so Ferrari could overtake Rosberg, so Lewis could win the world championship, which couldn't happen because Abu Dhabi became boring. It's very much what I'd call a cookie cutter race, where you've gone straight line, 90-degree turn, like a little chicane, hairpin, long straight, right angle, reverse right angle, straight, right angle, lots of just 90-degree corners where you can't really overtake.
Have you ever played it on the F1 game?
Yeah.
I played it, and I get a lot of penalties for crashing. I get a lot of penalties on that one for crashing.
So it's very just... you have to very much force the overtake to make it stick.
Mm-hmm.
But it was opened in 2009, announced as a night race. First race was won by Sebastian Vettel in his Red Bull, followed by Mark Webber, so Red Bull 1-2, followed by 2009 world champion Brit Jenson Button in his Brawn GP, the last race for Brawn GP ever. There's a 1-year deal almost.
Who's got the most wins at Abu Dhabi?
So the most wins is Mr. Lewis Hamilton. He's got 5 Grand Prix victories at Abu Dhabi. And and Mercedes have 6 constructor wins, which is the most of anyone at Abu Dhabi, winning over 50% of the races taking place at Abu Dhabi.
Do you like how I let you slide you in there?
Yeah.
How many laps are we expecting for the race?
We're expecting 55 laps, as always, at Abu Dhabi, compared to the 87 this week. So, I mean, a big deal.
Right, yeah. Let's talk about the track that we just had. I preferred that track compared to any other track that we've been there with, than the normal one and some of the other ones that are around as well. I really want them to keep that outer track for next year.
I think we might see a consistent thing with 2 Bahrains. I think it'll be a thing that we see for a little while. We'll see 2 Bahrains.
I don't mind that. I don't mind Bahrain.
I don't mind it. It's probably better than what we're going to see in Saudi Arabia next year. Street circuit. Because we've announced, because what is it? So there's a free space on the calendar next year, because they've obviously got rid of Vietnam. So maybe we slide the Sakhir Grand Prix outer layout into that one, because they've already got a contract for the normal circuit. Why not just slide in another contract for the oval 87 lap thing that we've just seen? So I think that'd be quite interesting.
I think it will be interesting, and I think it will be. I'm having a look here to see what the races we've got next year while I'm talking.
I think it's on the lines of, we start in Australia.
Here we go. It goes Australia, 21st of March. Then a week later in Bahrain, then China, then to be confirmed, don't know yet. Then Spain, then Monaco, then Azerbaijan, and then Canada, France, Austria, United Kingdom, Hungary, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, Russia, Singapore, Japan, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, and Abu Dhabi. Not DRB.
Yes,
He used to play for Arsenal. But there's two that's subject to change with the Spain and the Brazil.
Sao Paulo.
So it'll be interesting. Right, predictions. We're going to do we're not going to do our predictions. We're just going to talk about last week's because we've recorded this on a Monday and we don't know whether Lewis is going to be there or not. So what we're going to do is check out down below in the description is a link to the Robbos Gobcast Twitter page. Go on there, and on Saturday morning we will announce who we think will be qualifying and where we think they will end up in the race. So in the race, we both got none correct in the race whatsoever. So we are going into the final week. 5v5. So the loser, we got to think of a forfeit. I haven't thought of this before. Right, think of a forfeit while we're here. Let's name stuff and see which ones that we can actually do that's realistic.
I'm just going around my room looking for things.
Yeah, I was doing that as well, but it has to be public. Okay, so the winner. Okay, no, reverse that. The loser has to do a video that goes on YouTube that has to talk about how the other person is the greatest.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Okay? If it's a draw, then we will go live on Insta. Right. So if it's a draw, then the day that we normally record, we will do the award ceremony. But before that, we will go on Instagram Live. If it's a draw, we will let you guys pick the winner in our live stream on Instagram. I don't know whether I can do a poll on Instagram or I might do a poll on Twitter. Or I might do Twitter. I might go live on Twitter about Formula One, and we'll see what we do. And we will do some way of you guys choosing the winner overall.
Here we go.
I'm hoping for a draw now.
Sort of, yeah.
I'm hoping for a draw. I know.
I put my predictions in. Roy's like, oh, you know what? I predict the same thing. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm tempted. No. I'm tempted for it. Do you know what? I know if it's a draw that they're going to vote you the winner.
No, I don't think, because if I put out, my mates will just come and vote for me to.
Oh, no. I've pissed off a heck of a lot more people than you have. So don't worry about that. No, not probably. I fucking have. I've pissed off a lot more people than you have. So if it gets to a draw...
Royals, vote for me.
I'm not going to say anything. I was very close to them. I was really trying to say something. Fucking dickhead. But yes, we will be back next week. What we will do next week is we will be doing a review of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The week after that, we will be doing a review of the whole season. What we think about each certain race, what we've thought that's happened. And the week after that, near the end of in the end of the year, we will be suited up and we will be doing, so in 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time from now, we will be doing a end of year awards. In that time, we will come up with some silly awards to have as well for the drivers.
We'll also do this. On your Twitter, we will put out any ideas for certain rewards. Put it out on my Twitter as well, retweets, and you'll comment any funny, good ideas for awards. And if we think it's shit, we'll say it's shit, and we won't do it.
If it's shit and I find it funny, I'll do it. But if it's utter shit, it's not happening.
Yes, not.
So we're gonna do the normal best driver, best rookie.
Boring, yeah.
Who's all the boring?
I think there's only one of those. So well done, Nicholas Latifi, rookie of the season, finished last basically every race. Well done, lad. Rookie of the year.
He will win. So we will do certain categories, and we will decide the winner. And then going on to next year, building up to the start of the season, we will go through each individual team and give our opinions on them, who we think will be the best, about a bit of the history and do stuff like that.
History teacher Josh will be teaching Mark about this team, where they originate from, and who the drivers are, basically.
I just slightly shit myself because my Google just went off and I didn't say anything to it. And it made me nearly crap myself. But yeah, we will be doing that. We will be talking about that. Going into much more detail as well about each team and just doing the history lesson for me to have a little bit more. And then going on to next season, we will be doing predictions about well, we won't do predictions about practice. We will be overviewing when the practice comes around.
Yeah.
And then the season comes around again. The predictions get serious.
Because this time the aggregate score will hopefully finish how many races? 23. Somewhere hopefully above 50 odd. Because if not, that's quite depressing. Because that means we need to get roughly 2 out of 6 a week almost. Maybe 3 out of 6 a week.
So there's 23 races that are going to happen next season. You got 23, right? So hold on. So we do 6 predictions. So 23 times 6 is 138.
I think there should be a forfeit if one of us hits 100 and the other one doesn't.
No, I think whoever gets 138 deserves a fucking knighthood. That's how it's going to go. But we will come up with rules and do all of that near the time. But thank you guys ever so much for watching or listening. We want to thank you guys ever much for joining. Please like, share, comment, interact with us as well. We want to hear your feedback. We want to see you guys interacting. Josh will be a lot more active on Twitter as well. So go and give him some advice and help him out as well and help us grow and interact with us as well. We're not horrible. We're not boring. His Twitter is at
JWills40.
There you go. And his Instagram is at
Joshua.Louis, Louiss.
There we go. Go give him a follow. Go give him a like. Go show your love. And we will see you guys next week for the review of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Bye.
Snooze fest.